So let's just hope the YouTube stream comes true and we continue to read the beautiful books that I'm going to be reading for a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So I believe the YouTube stream is working. Oh, it is working. The YouTube stream is indeed working, guys. Don't forget. Okay, also guys, today we're gonna be doing a not Cuphead. What's the fucking application called? We're gonna be doing a Mario Kart stream later on today. Just not at this current moment. We are gonna be doing it. Dean's gonna hop in it with us, but he won't be on camera as of so far because of the TikTok bans that I get when he is with me on stream. Yeah, so once we wait for Deanie Weenie to get home, but I'm also playing with Danny T, so I hope Danny T can get the fuck home hella quick, because he gets it back at 5. So maybe 3, 4, 5, I leave at 5. Not even that bad of a fucking time of stream, to be honest. I apparently... Time out. Let me just make sure everything is good before we start reading. Low-key, I didn't know that Epicurus was a fucking hedonist. I did not know that at all. And I was a bit confused once I found out that Epicurus was a hedonist. I had to look this shit up on Google when we were talking about Epicurus. I was just like, yo, what the fuck? Since when the fuck did they make this guy a fucking hedonist? And... on God, philosophy can just be like... I think philosophy can be classified as a girl debrief. Like their equivalence is the same. A girl debrief and a philosopher speaking. They are the same. They are one and the same. Wait up, guys. We're gonna drink the tea. Fuck, bro. Ah! I just burnt my fucking lips. I just burnt my fucking mouth. Oh my fucking God. Yo, what the fuck? I am not streaming IDV. Excuse-moi, what the fuck? Okay. Here we go. What letter did we go from to go to this one? So we went from letter 18 to fucking letter 26. We are missing a good fucking portion of these letters. Let me get my pencil out to be prepared to annotate my fucking reads. It's only a short time since I was telling you. I was in sight of old age. Now I'm afraid I may have left old age behind me altogether. Some other term would be more in keeping now with my years, or at least my present physical state. Since old age connotes a period of decline, not debility. Put me in the list of the decrepit, the ones on the very brink. However, I congratulate myself, mind you, on the fact that my age has not, so far as I'm aware, brought my deterioration in my spirit. Wait, let me read. Let me fucking reset this part. I'm fucking a chud. Sorry, guys. My age has not, so far as I'm aware, brought any deterioration in my spirit. Conscious as I am of the deterioration in my constitution, only my vices and their accessories have decayed. The spirit is full of life, and delighted to be having only limited dealings with the body. It has thrown off a great part of its burden. It's full of vigor and carrying on an argument with me on the subject of old age, maintaining that these are its finest years. Let's accept that it says Let's accept what it says and let it make the most of its blessing. It tells me to start thinking and examine how far I owe this serenity and sobriety to philosophy, and how far I owe it simply to my years, and to investigate with some care what things I really am refusing to do and what I'm simply incapable of doing. And it's prepared to accept whatever I'm really pleased to find myself incapable of doing as equivalent to refusing to do. Hold up, we're going to the next page. To do them. And what cause can there be for complaint after all in anything that was always bound to come to an end, fading gradually away? What is troubling about that? Nothing, you may say, could be more troubling than the idea of our wasting and perishing away, melting out of existence. One may aptly call it, since we aren't struck down all of a sudden, but worn away, every day that passes diminishing in some degree our powers. That's true. We do be getting fucking old as fuck. Moving to one's end and through nature, own gentle process of dissolution. Is there a better way of leaving life than that? Not because there is anything wrong with a sudden violent departure, but because this gradual withdrawal is an easy route. Wow. Anyway, here's what I do. I imagine to myself that the testing time is drawing near, that the day that is going to see judgment pronounced on the whole of my past life has actually arrived. And I take a look at myself and address myself in these terms. All that I've done or said up to now counts for nothing. My showing to date, besides being heavily varnished over, is of paltry value and reliability as a guarantee of my spirit. I'm going to leave it to death to settle what progress I've made. Without anxiety, then I'm making ready for the day when the tricks and disguises will be put away and I shall come to a verdict on myself. Determining whether the courageous attitudes I adopt are really felt or just so many words, and whether or not the defiant challenges I've hurled at fortune have been mere pretense and pantomime. Fuck. I am of understanding. Bro, my bad. Let me fucking reset. You're funny, Liz. Have been more pretense and pantomime. Away with the world's opinion of you. It's always unsettled and divided. Away with the pursuits that have occupied the whole of your life. Death is going to deliver the verdict in your case. Yes, all your debates and learned conferences, your scholarly talk and collection of maxims from the teachings of philosophers are in no way indicative of genuine spiritual strength. Bold words come even from the timidest. Bold words come even from the timidest. It's only when you're breathing your last that the way you've spent your time will become apparent. I accept the terms and feel no dread of the coming judgment. Okay, so he fucked with his life. He genuinely fucked with his life. That's beautiful as hell. You know, that's a good way to think though. Like, imagine you're on your deathbed, right? You're like, you have your kids, you have everything, and you're like, yo, my life is low-key shit. What do you mean I spent all this time doing bullshit, like nothing? Like, you have no purpose in your soul. Bro, what the fuck do you even do in that? Like, do you have, like, you know how there's midlife crises? Is there end of life crises? Or like, is that even a real concept? But I feel like to accept your whole life, that means you did everything correctly and every mistake you did was perfect. Like, perfect mistakes, like, that sounds weird, but like, I feel like the concept of a perfect mistake is like a real thing. Copyright that term. Which term? Yo, did you guys want to know something? Did you guys know the term platonic actually has no fucking meaning? Like, it has no origin. The only reason platonic was invented was because Plato didn't want to have relationship with his students. Like, I was like, okay, then what does onic mean? Because Platonic. I was like, what the fuck does onic mean? I go on, I'm calling my cousin, right? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck does onic mean? He looks it up. It's not even a real fucking word. So we genuinely need to find a new word for the term platonic. Because it doesn't mean shit. Platonic means jack diddly fucking squat. Or it has a term now, like, of course it has a definition to it, but like the origin of the word means bullshit. Like, guys, we need to come up with a new term for platonic. We need to put this in the Oxford Dictionary. All right, we're gonna continue. That's what I say to myself, but assume that I've said it to you as well. You're younger than I am, but what difference does that make? No count is taken of years. Just where death is expecting you is something we cannot know. So for your part, expect him everywhere. I was just intending to stop my hand considering its closing sentence, but the accounts have still to be made. Oh, and this letter issued with its traveling expenses. You may assume that I won't be announcing the source I intend borrowing from. You know whose funds I'm drawing on? Give me a fraction more time and payment will be made out of my own pocket. In the meantime, Epicurus will oblige me with the following saying: rehearse death, or the idea may come across to us rather more satisfactorily if put in this form. It is a very good thing to familiarize oneself with death. You may possibly think it's unnecessary to learn something which you will only have to put into practice once. That is the very reason why we ought to be practicing it. We must needs continually study a thing if we are not in a position to test whether we know it. Rehearse death. To say this is to tell a person to rehearse his freedom. A person who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave. He is above, or at any rate beyond the reach of all political powers. What are prison wardens' bars to him? He has an open door. There is but one chain holding us in fetters, and that is our love of life. There is no need to cast this love out altogether, but it does need to be lessened somewhat so that, in the event of circumstances ever demanding this, nothing may stand in the way of our being prepared to do at once what we must do at some point or another. That's a tough ass bar. Right there's a good ass bar. There is no need to cast this love out altogether, but it does need to be lessened somewhat, so that in the event of circumstances ever demanding this, nothing may stand in the way of our being prepared to do at once what we must do at some time or another. A fucking banger. What the fuck? Okay, did we go back a letter? So wait, did we just go from 20 something? Wait. Okay, no. We went from 26 to 27. Finally, this motherfucker put in his shit properly. Like, bro, there's so many letters that I thought were lost, but they're not even lost. They're just in another book. Like, bruh, are we fucking serious? I don't even know how to, that's just fucking annoying. Like, bruh, I jumped from 18 to 25 and missed a good ass chunk of what the fuck this guy was saying. Because I don't know what the fuck is happening between those letters. I feel like though, these letters that he would send to specifically Lucilius, I feel like he probably had some sort of freak. But since he's a Stoic, he don't even show his freak because it's pleasure. But I feel like even the Stoics did freak ass shit. Like, you know, like there has to be one Stoic who had done reproduction for like the act of it. And then he's like, yo, this is gas. Let me hop on it again. Dude, and the time that this guy Seneca was alive, do you know who Caligula is? Liz? If you don't know who Caligula is, bro, you need to fucking hear about this guy. He was the OG Diddy. This guy literally would have, like, he would get all of his, like, subordinates, like his main men together, and he would fuck their wives, and they would watch, and if they were to oppose, he would kill them on the spot and continue to fuck their wives. If you denied Caligula to crack your wife, you're dead. And what also this guy did, he threw a party, and because he got bored, he let out a lion for his own amusement, a starving lion. And like a fuck ton of people died, and he did not give a fuck. Bruh, like, what the fuck? Look up Caligula. And one of the things I'm so surprised about even this guy being alive is like, he basically dick sucked Caligula. Like, what the fuck? Like, to even be alive during this time? I mean, he probably just didn't get a wife because he was like, yo, like, I am not a cuck. Or what would Greek people say? Thou are not a cuck. No, yeah, but that guy's evil as fuck. He would do other evil shit too, but that's just kind of like his magnum opus. I feel like the lion in the room killing a bunch of people that were like, because the lion was starving, is probably his magnum opus, in my opinion. I think that would be my magnum opus too, if I were on terms of freak Diddy parties. You feel me? Letter 27. So you're giving me advice, are you? You say, have you already given yourself advice? Bruh, have you already given yourself advice then? Whatever, brother. Have you already put yourself straight? Is that how you come to have time for reforming other people? No, I'm not so shameless as to set about treating people when I'm sick myself. I'm talking to you as if I were lying in the same hospital ward about the illness we're both suffering from and passing on some remedies. So listen to me as if I were speaking to myself. I'm allowing you access to my inmost self, calling you in to advise me as I have things out with myself. I proclaim to my own self. Count your years, and you'll be ashamed to be wanting and working for exactly the same thing as you wanted when you were a boy. Of this one thing, make sure against your dying day that your faults die before you do. Okay. Have done with those unsettled pleasures, which cost one dear. They do no harm after they've passed and gone, not merely when they're in prospect. Even when they're over, pleasures of a depraved nature are apt to carry feelings of dissatisfaction. In the same way as a criminal's anxiety doesn't end with the commission of the crime, even if it's undetected at the time, such pleasures are insubstantial and unreliable. Even if they don't do one any harm. They're fleeting in character. Look around the same enduring good instead, and nothing answers this description except what the spirit discovers for itself within itself. A good character is the only guarantee of everlasting carefree happiness, even if some obstacle to this comes on the scene. Its appearance is only to be compared to that of clouds, which drift in front of the sun without ever detecting its light. Okay, that's kind of a banger. Even if some obstacle to this comes on the scene, its appearance is only to be compared to that of clouds, which drift in front of the sun without ever defeating its light. That is a banger. What the fuck? Yo, that's a good way to see shit. Like when you're going through a rough patch, it's just the sun, like the clouds covering the sun, Some days aren't going to be fucking always bright. And that's just the truth of it. Like, not every day will be as bright as the others. And I feel like if you put that into like perspective of everything fucking else, like genuinely everything, like life can't really be that bad. Like, you know, I heard a saying from this guy who was like going to die. He had cancer and they said he had 3 months left. And he said, or he lived a year. He lived like 3 years. But every day he lived like it was his last. Like all the shit that we worry about, all of our finals, all of our midterms, all of our exams, all of the studying, everything that we do doesn't matter. Like, I know it sounds dumb, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you're gonna die, you're like, what can I do to fulfill my inner, like, final accomplishments in these last days of living? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? How soon will you be fortunate enough to attain to this happiness? Well, you haven't been dragging your steps up till now, but your pace could be increased. There's a lot of work remaining to be done, and if you want to be successful, you must devote all your waking hours and all your efforts to the task personally. This is not something that admits of delegation. It is a different branch of learning which has room of devilling. There was a rich man called Calvius Sabinus in my own lifetime who has a freedman's brains along with the freedman's fortune. I have never seen greater vulgarity in a successful man. His memory was so bad that at one moment or another the names of Ulysses or Achilles or Priam characters he knew as well as we know our early teachers would slip his memory. No doddering butler even went through the introductions of a mass of callers committing quite such solecisms. Wait a minute. We're going to go back. There's this part right here. It says, an enslaved person who had been freed by their enslaver was known as a freedman. The stereotypical freedman, like Calvius Sabinus, was extremely wealthy but also extremely arrogant. The same negative stereotypes appear in Petronius Satyricon. Okay. Not announcing people's names as much as foisting names on them, as Sabinus did with the Greek and Trojan heroes. But this didn't stop him wanting to appear a well-read man, and to this end he thought up the following shortcut. He spent an enormous amount of money on slaves. What the fuck? So a slave spending money on slaves. Even I thought, like, if you're enslaved, you don't want slaves afterwards because you, like, have empathy or you gained a sense of empathy towards another human being. But I guess I'm fucking wrong. Like, no, it's like, bro, like, it's just true that, like, people don't give no fucks. Like, you can experience the worst pain and a dumbass man will genuinely recreate that pain. You know, I feel like the term generational trauma is just bullshit, and it's just lack of empathy. We're gonna go back to this. He thought up the following shortcut. He spent an enormous amount of money on slaves. One of them to know Homer by heart, another to know Hesiod, while he assigned one apiece to each of the 9 lyric poets. It says, oh, these are all the lyric poets. It says Alcaeus, Sappho, Stachorus, Ibycus, Bacchylides, Simonides, Alcman, Anacaron, Pindar. Damn, he really enslaved a fucking jit. He really enslaved some of these motherfuckers who were singing it up. That the cost was enormous. It's hardly surprising. Not having found what he wanted in the market, he had them made to order. After this collection of slaves had been procured for him, he began to give his dinner guests nightmares. He would have fellows at his elbows so that he could continuously be turning to them for quotations from the poets, which he might repeat to the company. What the fuck? What? What the fuck? Did I hear that right? He had like the essentially quote, like people who would just quote fucking philosophers. He enslaved them and would have them by his ear to tell him bangers. Whoa, this guy might be fucking him. This guy might be ignorant, but he's dead ass him. And then it happened frequently. He would break down halfway through a word. Statilius Quadrans, who regarded stupid millionaires as fair game to be sponged off, and consequently also fair game for flattery. That's Riz. That's a banger. That's a banger. As well as, and this goes with the other two things, fair game for Facianus at their expense suggests to him that he should keep a team of scholars to pick up the bits on Sabinus, letting it be known that the slaves had set him back 100,000 sesterces apiece, he said. Yes, for less than that you could have bought the same number of bookcases. Okay, that's a good point. He didn't need these people to fucking or to like inform him about bullshit. Like, he could have literally fucking read. If all he did was read, he would have fucking known. And instead he bought slaves. Man, I really lose hope in humanity hearing these old stories. Because it's true, like, bro, you can read this shit. You don't need to have someone tell you it. You can learn this shit. You don't need someone to tell you. Unless it's like some concept that like is so so different that like you're so behind it that you want to catch up to it, so you get kind of like a crash course. I think that's different. That's a whole different ballpark. Sabinus was none of the less quiet, convinced that what anyone in his household knew, he knew personally. It was Statilius again who started urging Sabinus, a pale and skinny individual whose health was poor, to take up wrestling. When Sabinus restored, how can I possibly do that? It is as much as I can do to stay alive. Statilius answered, now please don't say that. Look how many slaves you've got in perfect physical condition. A sound mind can neither be bought nor borrowed, and if it were for sale, I doubt whether it would find a buyer, and yet unsound ones are being purchased every day. Didn't we just talk about that though? We literally just we were just talking about. Wait a minute. But let me pay you what I owe you and say goodbye. Poverty brought into accord with the law of nature is wealth. Epicurus is constantly saying this in one way or another, but something that can never be learnt too thoroughly can never be said too often. With some people, you only need to point to a remedy. Others need to have it rammed into them. Okay. Like, and how we were just talking about how you can't buy a brain, like how he was basically saying, like, you know, you have fucking a fuck ton of slaves, like you could buy bookcases and learn this shit from the slave, like that the slaves knew. And brother, he has a fair point. Like, a buyer would not buy a good brain, because like I don't even think personally I would buy a great brain, and only because I don't want to think like them. And like, I guess I don't think other people would even see it like that. They would just be like, why do I need a brain when I have my own? Like, why? It's like, why do I need to buy the same reskin twice in like IDB or any other game? Like, why am I buying this reskin? I already have the fucking skin. But like, honestly, the only reason I wouldn't have my brain swapped is because I am not trying to be like, imagine forgetting all the things you fucking have in your fucking noggin, like all your personal noggin things, just to get someone else's noggin. And like, say that your trauma low-key made you, and then you have a fucking like zero trauma chad true cell brain unfucking destroyed from chemicals that were caused to them. And you're gonna be boring. Like, I don't know. Fuck no. Being boring because you bought someone else's brain has to be kind of ironic. Like, bro, I would never buy no. Thankfully, I'm smart and funny. No, on God, I feel, and it's like, you know, I wouldn't buy a philosopher's brain because I feel like philosophers can't even be funny. I know that sounds stupid, but like, I don't even think they can be funny like that. Is there any, like, I feel like their comedy though, in a different like kind of context would be like, you're a buffoon. And he's like, define buffoon. And it's like, a buffoon is, and then he just like starts naming the person, and then they're just fucking laughing like, oh, jolly, go, 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 go. Like, I wonder what the, let's look up what a good philosopher joke is. Jokes made by philosophers. First, alright, we're going, please be quoted. These aren't even fucking memes. Like, they're not even actual saying. I don't think they actually had jokes. Okay, wait up. Never mind. I'm still looking. Is there any jokes? Okay, a serious and good philosophical work can be written consisting entirely of jokes. Ludwig Wittgenstein. And then this is a okay, like, bro, I don't even want to take this guy's quote into seriousness because this guy went back on everything he said. Like, his whole philosophy, at the end of it, he went back. I don't even want to, bro, that's the only fucking joke? Really? The only fucking joke? All these never mind, I don't think they actually have them. Hold up, wait up. Jokes of the proper kind, properly told, can do some more to enlighten questions of politics, philosophy, and literature than any number of dull arguments. Yo, these people are boring. Yo, who the fuck would actually fuck with a philosopher? These people are so fucking boring. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, we need woman philosophers just so that they can make it more interesting. Like, they tell a story and then they fucking get to the point. But these guys aren't even telling stories, really just facts, 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 facts. Like, there's no entertainment in it, bruh. It sucks, bro. Like, I'm really reading these guys and they're not funny. I think we need a new subject in school, comedic philosophy. I think comedic philosophy would do great numbers to the masses, in my opinion. Okay, we are on letter 28. Nah, because it's like, bro, I shouldn't even have looked that up, bruh. Give me a minute. Let me fucking process that I'm looking for all funny philosopher majors. Thinking of making a new subject. Hit me up. That's a great idea, though. Let's start a business with fucking comedic philosophy. Because I feel like the jokes, though, would be psychology because... Oh, wait up. There's a joke. There's a joke. Okay. Famous philosopher walks in... Never mind. None of these are... Bro, jokes about... This is not from... Oh, wait. There's one. Jokes by philosophers. Diogenes. When Plato defined man as a featherless biped, Diogenes famously brought a plucked chicken into the lecture room announcing, "Behold, I've brought you a man." See, it's like, bro is unfunny. You know what I mean? Like, he could have kind of like killed it, plucked it, and then proceeded to eat it, but he just tortured the fuck out of a bird. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, here we go. We have another one. That guy is weird. Diogenes is kind of weird. Just to prove a point, right? Like, torture someone to prove a point. What the fuck? Sidney Morgan Besser. When a linguist argued no language uses a double positive to mean a negative, Morgan Besser shouted, "Yeah, right?" That one kind of went over my head. Does anyone get that? Do I need to read it again? That one... Okay, we'll read it again. From Sydney Morgan Besser. When a linguist argued no language uses a double positive to mean a negative, Morgan Besser shouted, "Yeah, right?" Oh, wait a minute. I get it. I get the joke. I get the joke. And then we have one from Wittgenstein. Okay, and then here we go from Wittgenstein. He highlighted that absurdity of philosophy by describing a peer constantly pointing at a tree and saying, "I know there's a tree. I know that's a tree," explaining to a passerby, "This fellow isn't insane. We are only doing philosophy." I'm done. I don't even... These people are fucking stupid. We're pausing here because of that. We're getting on IDV. Dun 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 dun. Everyone get on IDV. We are all getting on IDV. Who wants to watch professional killer gameplay? Fuck you, Wittgenstein. Can we get a oh, wait a minute. I didn't say that. Can we get a "I dislike you" Wittgenstein in chat, please? Wittgenstein.